Another Sunday already almost in the books, and that means another weekly comic wrap up. Welcome to episode 24, everybody. And tonight is going to be a fun one because I'm going to be hanging with my brother over from the Comic Kingpins. Yeah, you've seen me hang with him over there with the boys, Nefarious. But before we bring him in, just want to update everybody on a few things. One, I'm doing terrible again in my fantasy football team. Thank you, newbie. It's your fault. You picked some of my players this week, so I'm blaming you. And of course, next week, episode 25. We're going big, baby. 25 already, but Ryan McClay is going to be hopping on, man. So pretty pumped about that one. So keep an eye out for that. But unfortunately, no Loki show this week because Loki's done, man. Loki's already done. I'm so sad. That came and went so fast, but we'll get into it in a little bit with my brother. So, like I said, he's sitting backstage. Let's not keep him any longer. If you haven't already, definitely go sub him up. Go check out his Instagram. The guy's got one of the most insane collections I've ever seen, and he is hot selling some crazy books. So, guys, none other than my brother Ryan, aka Nefarious Comics. What's going on?
What up, guys? Hello to everyone, and my man Black Crown, Gerlando. Congratulations on this lovely YouTube channel, man. I see everyone sing your praises, and it's so good, guys. If you don't know about all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, prepping for these shows, organizing the slides, a lot of work goes into it, a lot of dedication. And Black Crown, dude, you do such a good job. I'm so happy that you thought of me to have me on. You know what I mean? It's been a while. It's been a while since I was just like one-on-one with someone, like shooting the breeze on YouTube, shooting from the hip. And so thank you so much.
Yeah, dude, it's a pleasure, man. Like I said, just before hopping on, we were catching up, and I'm like, man, it's been since the Kingpins that we haven't hung out, man.
So you know what? It's just like life happens, man. We had a great summer down here in Ottawa, and as much I love comics, you know what I mean? But it's all for me recently. It's been more about finding balance with like other aspects of life. You know what I mean? Yep. And so I haven't spent as much time on the comics. Now, guys, I'm still hitting up shows, selling, but in the place of where our current economy is, where the marketplace is, very good buyer's market. But to tell you the truth, my online sales, like way down. I think everyone's online, like everyone's sales are kind of down. So my business model has kind of shifted a lot from sitting at home, putting up listings at night to just doing shows, traveling around Ontario, Quebec, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, but you just mentioned that. Now, like I said, we haven't really had the opportunity to hang out so much, but not only are we going to have the opportunity to hang out tonight, hopefully very soon, you're going to be in my neck of the woods. So let's talk about this, baby. Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of which, life on the road, that's one of my favorite things. I love traveling around, setting up at shows, because not only do you get to go on the road, have some fun, eat some unhealthy food, which is pretty much like what I do every day anyway, but you get to go hang out with the Montreal boys. You know what I mean? There is a strong contingent of very cool, very hip Montreal comic aficionados, if you will, down there, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. So guys, make sure you roll by. I'm like right on the main path by the front doors. It's gonna be a pretty bitchin' spot. There's a bunch of us coming down from Ottawa. I'm like loaded up. You know what I mean? You know what's going really well for me right now are just like mid-grade keys, hard to find like old Sonic the Hedgehog books. We were just talking about that backstage. Yep. All the stuff you're looking for that's not going to break your wallet. Hopefully, well, I do have some stuff that'll break your wallet, but this is my shameless plug. Come check out my raw shit. It's so good right now.
Yep. And of course, like I was saying, you're going to be here in Montreal doing the Mini-Con, which is a small holiday version of the Montreal Comic-Con, and this one's going to be free. So December 2nd, December 3rd, 2023, very soon, dude. We're maybe 3 weeks away from that, not even.
Yeah, and, 3 weeks away. Yeah, man. So you know what? So the last time they did the Mini-Con, I was talking to the showrunner, Steph, really cool girl, and she's like, man, it was ballistic. Like the fact that it's free, like Comic-Con, Montreal Comic-Con, how much is it to get in the door? It's like $50 or something crazy like that. It's insane. This is pretty much the same thing, just like no guests. You know what I mean? So you got all your vendors coming down. It's gonna be like the last kind of bigger show. I know you guys have like some smaller shows in Montreal, and like there's good sellers coming down, and it's a good time, man. You know, right before Christmas, buy some presents for people, maybe yourself.
Now, speaking presents, make sure you keep some of those Sonic books for me. That's all I'm going to say.
Listen, dude, there's big stickers on it that say your name. You know what I mean? On the ones you told me about. I'll bring those up a little later in the show for the show and tell portion of tonight's entertainment.
Appreciate that, bro. And of course, I appreciate you hopping on tonight. We have a lot to talk about because, yes, the Marvels dropped, Loki came to end. There's a lot of stuff that happened, news related, but also the market report is obviously one of my favorite parts to go through on this show. So, some interesting books as always, and I believe there is a certain character we just spoke about on that list. So, yeah, I look forward to getting to that one. But before we get into all that fun stuff, we got to give a quick shout out to all these awesome people hanging out even at 5:30 p.m. Look at that. Michael Baker's in the house. You know Michael Baker. You've seen him on the Comic Kingpin's channel in the comment section showing some love. But stick around, guys. Last week, no Baker Shaker. This week, he's back with a vengeance, baby. So looking forward to that. Paul in the 619. Guys, if you didn't yet, go watch Spine Ticks. I know I say this every week, and it's not just to give friendly plugs here. It's really because they put on a phenomenal show. Yesterday was hilarious, dude. The cover roast. We go through some covers that they go through some covers that they always put up one cover that's just horrendous. You know, fans and viewers and all the friends, the Spine Ticks crew, everybody sends that stuff in, and there was one that just blew my mind, and Spidey blew something else. That's all I'm gonna say. Newbie's in the house. Newbie, my bro, dude. I actually messaged him today asking him if he could skate. Right? I want to play pickup hockey with some of the comic boys, but I don't know, man. It doesn't look like Newbie's gonna be participating in that one. Yo, there they are. There you go. Sith's in the house, man. Checking in from a wedding. Yes, of course, of course. I see what you're doing here. But appreciate you, Sith. Means the world. My wife for life. Here she is. Marissa's in that. Appreciate you.
That's support right there. Way to go.
There you go. Showing some love. Who else you got over here? You got Steph's Comics, another local boy. And like I was telling you, I'm positive he's going to be hitting up the Montreal Comic Con. So Steph's Comics, greatly appreciate you. And the guy makes the best binulatis. I know you're making a face right now. You're like, what's a binulati? I will show you after this stream. Dude, the best. He better bring some to Montreal Comic Con. I don't know if he'll be able
to bring about 10 of those to Montreal Comic Con. Yeah, let's go in and out of focus. I'm gonna dim that.
There you go. But who else we got here? Yo, Nemesis killing me on Instagram. If you guys aren't already, dude, go follow him on Instagram. Comic Con podcast, putting out some phenomenal content, man. My brothers, and dude, he just got a shipment from Newbie Comics. Now he lives in the States. Obviously, Newbie being in Canada, they don't have all dress chips. Apparently, I didn't know this. Did you know that?
You know what? It wouldn't surprise me because they have a lot of stuff down there. Like there's people that go to shows that their whole brand is bringing like different flavored Pringles that we don't have down here. You know what I mean? The different Oreos and stuff.
Yeah, every week he's got me going to the grocery store now. Like literally this weekend, I'm taking pictures of just random chips I've never even noticed we had here, and I'm just sending them to him.
Yeah, I hear ketchup chips. Ketchup chips might be one of those like random ones too. They might not have down there. I think.
Yeah, no, dude, I'm coming across like some grilled chicken ones and stuff. I'm like, what the hell's going on now? We're broadening horizons up here in the chip in the chip world. But yeah, man, greatly appreciate Nemesis. Of course, Chia Pet's in the house.
What up?
Chia Pet, dude. We were doing some of the Loki immediately after the show recaps, and I had a blast with him, man. I hope he does more YouTube stuff. Doors always open to you, bro. Who else? Yeah. The wife is saying sick background. See, and here I am in my little closet space.
Yours is awesome, man.
Yeah, Comic Ozzy's in the house, man. Ozzy, man, another fellow Canadian, bro. Appreciate you swinging by, showing some love. RP's in the house, dude. Always a pleasure seeing you here, hanging out with us. And then, Neff, you know this guy?
Oh my gosh, the Godfather himself, man.
Yep, exactly. Lefteros is in the house. Lefteros doing big things, man. Big things. Proud of this guy. But who else we got here? We got the Comic Vet. Was at Montreal Comic Con this summer. Great show. Yeah, dude. I unfortunately missed it, man. I wasn't able to go because, yes, as a certain somebody said, I had weddings all summer long, man. It was wild. But yeah, that's where all my money went this summer. TK's in the house. I know exactly who this is, and I appreciate him swinging by. Guys, love this guy. One of the nicest guys in the world. Forget comics. Forget everything else. Awesome gentleman. And I will be seeing him tomorrow. That's all I'm going to say. JF is in the house. JF, bro, appreciate you swinging by. Got North 49 coming to hang out with myself, Nefarious, to go through all the fun stuff tonight. And we've got, of course, Cliff on comics. Cliff, if you guys didn't already, go check out his channel. He just did a CGC unboxing, which was really fun to see, man. There's one book in that unboxing. I was like, damn, I kind of wanted to buy it off him, but I resisted. I took a step back. Yeah, that was a priceless video. It really was. And of course, Paperweight, my brother who was on the show with me last week, put on a great show, dude. Such an awesome guy to just chat with, shoot the shit with, and he knows his stuff. He does know his comic stuff, and of course, he's a wrestler. So I'm not saying, you know, I kind of feel forced to say all these things, but you know, I just don't want to. I don't want to be suplexed. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, who else we got here? We got Audi in the house. Audi, man. Yeah, there you go. What's up, partner? There you go. Appreciate you, brother. All right, Neff. This is our time, baby. Are you ready? Are you ready?
I've been ready, man. I've been ready. And guy, he booked me 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? It went in the calendar. I've been mentally preparing. I'm bringing it, man.
There you go, man. Comic Forge, man. My brother from the Defects, of course, is popping in. Dude, I can't say it enough how much I appreciate you swinging by. Hope you're doing well. We haven't chatted in a little while, so you know, door's always open if you want to come swing by and hang out on Sundays with me, bro. Philly Born's in the house. Philly Born, thank you so much for being here. Now stick around because we got a lot to go through. There you go, Lefteros. Yeah, you know exactly what's going on, bro. All right, Nefarious, we got a lot to talk about, but before we get into any of the market stuff and the hot topics, of course, we got to get into the FOC stuff. So, my brother, I got to ask you, like I do every week, are you ready?
Buddy, I'm ready.
Let's do it. All right, it's the FOC picks of the week, and it's a pretty neat one this week, man. I gotta say, now these picks right here were selected by none other than Lefteros. So if you guys aren't already, go check out Lefteros Comics on his Instagram, and of course, he's also putting out articles for Cover Price when it comes to New Comic Book Day and to FOC. So let's dip into it, but before we do, don't forget to use Black Crown as the discount code at www.comicnation.us. Get your FOC orders in. You are still in time to get them. So let's get into the first book, dude. Now, we've got Batman 428, Robin Lives. This is the reprint, right, from the DC Vault that features an alternate ending in which Jason Todd survives. So pretty interesting, man. I think, dude, this is a no-brainer. It's an automatic pickup for me. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, okay. So I'll tell you this. This book reminds me, and I'll explain my reasoning of like Spider-Boy 1 that came out not too long ago, in the sense that you know it's going to be heavily ordered by everyone, but yet, for myself anyways, you still end up with like 30 copies on order. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because like, I think this book, like in the foil, because I think that's the version Lefteros is talking about. That's the version I like anyway. How is it never not going to be a good book? I just think there's going to be an early onset abundance of them out there. So you're going to have to buy it with the mindset. Like if you're buying it to own it, it's a sick book. Go buy it to own it 100%. But if you're buying it for some kind of like a potential down the road, I think like at a show or selling it, I think it'll always have like a $25 value, maybe 6 months down the road when all the initial copies go into people's collections. Yeah. The other thing is like, I think the FOC cost on the foil is up around $8-9 or something. Like maybe it's got to be up there somewhere. So it's not like it really hurts the shop, especially in these tough times, to order a bunch of extra copies just to have sitting in bins. So you know, there's going to be a lot of them out there. I think the book's freaking awesome. I think it's so cool they're doing this story where, you know, you get to see the alternate ending, because what it was people got to vote on the outcome. And obviously everyone's like, yeah, I killed Robin. You know what I mean? And they just kind of, I guess, shelved the other the other version. So what do you think about this? How deep are you going on this book? Are you like going to buy a bunch of copies? Or just...
I'm not going heavy. I'm not investing. I'm just picking this up strictly for the read. I think it's going to be cool to see exactly what route this could have gone, right? Had everybody said otherwise. So, yeah, I'm picking this one up 100% for the read. Now, the foil game, I know it's you know, it's the in thing in 2023 apparently, but I'm starting to shy away because, like you said, those come with a heavy price, dude. So
they do. They look so nice. You know what? But here's the thing too. You got your regular cover, but then you have a blank variant also, which is actually pretty cool, because where Robin is, there's just no Robin. And my buddy was telling me about it, and apparently it's just blank there. You know what I mean? And those are pretty neat too. Like I find that there is demand for like some of the blank variants on better titles.
Yeah. Michael Baker saying he heard a guy rigged his computer to call the hotline for Robin's death. Truth or urban legend? I'm going to say, Michael Baker, you just revealed that you hacked that computer. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened. But collect video games. Yes, this guy's going hard. Dude, Nemesis is killing it, man. He's picking up a lot of video games that are still sealed, man, in their boxes. And he's sending them to get graded. CGC grading for video games is pretty cool. But all right, let's get back into this. So FOC pick number 2 over here for Lefteros is Bloody Dozen number 1. Now this is the cover A, and it's a new supernatural horror adventure installment of the Shrouded College. So pretty interesting. I think on my end, I may be passing on this one. Maybe I'll regret it. We shall see. But this one's going to be a pass for me. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. No. I'm of the same mindset, and only because there's so much new material coming out. It's really tricky to back the proper horse. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying I'm a little gun shy right now about, going too heavy, or not to mention time's so script sparse for me right now. I won't get around to reading it. You know what I mean? I got like a 2 read pile like that. I'm like, oh man, I got to get on that. And where will this fit in?
Yeah, exactly. Now, like I said, for myself, this is most likely going to be a pass. I may regret it, but yeah, it's on Lefteros' pick of the week, and I imagine with great reason. So let's move on from this one. We're going to get to Guma, the beginning of her number 1. Now, this is a pretty neat cover by, what's his name? I can't even pronounce it. I'm not having a blank, but it's Ji Young, right? Ji Young Lee. So hopefully I didn't botch it, newbie style. But a young girl escapes from a drug syndicate and discovers an ancient blade. This one sounds pretty interesting.
Okay, well, no, it does certainly sound pretty interesting, but that cover creeps me the fuck out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that on that alone, I'm like, I don't ever want to see that cover again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Lefteros, let me know if you're talking about this one or the last one. I can't. The comments came in just a bit later. Michael Baker, is this like the young adult version of Event Horizon? Probably, not too sure. What's up, Trev? Trev swinging by, man. Appreciate you. Trev's going live at 10 p.m. Eastern time, so definitely hop on over to his channel the second we are done here, wrapping up the week. Great title, yeah. The last one, there you go. So he's saying that this one is already optioned, so not so bad. Not this one here, the one right here. So Bloody Dozen. All right. Moving on, some Star Wars stuff, man. We got High Republic number 2. This is the first cover appearance of Brother Likos, Child of the Storm. So, look, this is now volume 3 of Star Wars: The High Republic. I say it every week. I've kind of shied away from Star Wars stuff, and I say kind of because there are some that I am still picking up now. High Republic, I'm not too sure, man. You picking this one up?
Okay, well, here's the thing. Okay, with Star Wars books, especially the High Republic era, there's literally 6 new character appearances in every issue. Like, well, not 6, but there's a significant amount of new character appearances all over the place. And so, like, I'll buy one of them just to have. You know what I mean? Am I going to go in on them? Probably not. I find maybe a couple years down the road, like, how many of these Star Wars first appearances in every issue that we seem to get every month have actually like hit? You know what I mean? Like. Yeah. The guy from the last series, like Kanan or whatever, his seems to be doing okay.
Oh, they're flying, dude.
Yeah, but that's one out of like a gazillion first appearance issues. I think it's cool. I love like the different eras of Star Wars stuff. You know what I mean? I've always kind of been interested in Star Wars. So like I'll buy one, nothing much more.
But shout out to Uni with his awesome comment. Yeah, there you go. No black crowns, just white crown. But Uni, man, appreciate you, bro. Always happy to see you around, man. But yeah, man, let's get on to the next book. So we got Star Wars Revelations number 1. Now, this one I am picking up because solicitation states this issue will introduce new characters, and it seems pretty cool, man. I also think this is a pretty badass cover, so I'm picking this one up, man.
Yeah, this is kind of like the Marvel Now or Timeless, isn't it? It kind of sets the stage for like the storyline moving forward. And just like if you have any passing interest in current events in the Star Wars universe, it's kind of an important one to get.
Yeah,
you know. And generally, if they do have like a big character appearance, they're going to be relevant in some of the storyline. So I think it'd be a good one. You know what the only problem is? It's going to come with like some obnoxious price tag on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's a $5.99 book somewhere around there.
US.
Yeah, US. Yeah, dude. I know the conversion hurts. Trust me. I feel it.
You know what? It's not as bad as those $9.99 ones that you get. You know what I mean? what was it like? Amazing Spider-Man, the first appearance of Jackpot. It was like $14 Canadian cover price, $9.99 US.
Yeah, allow me to correct myself. It's actually $6.99, so it hurts that one little bit more. But
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Bag and board, you're into $12 Canadian for that, probably.
Yeah, exactly. But yo, Cali Comics is in the house, man. Yo, if you guys haven't yet, go check out Cali Comics, man. Greatly appreciate this guy, man. Thank you so much for swinging by. Now, Uni's saying it's cool. They still bring out new characters. Always fun to go back digging if something gets relevant. That's the thing is, like, I feel a lot of people don't want to miss it, right? So they'll pick it up at FOC, and that's something I always highly encourage, man. Pick it up while it's at its lowest. But yeah, this one I'm picking up. That High Republic, I'm not too sure. So we'll see. I might regret it. But
there's
anyway.
also a Boba Fett cover of this too that looks pretty neat as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Here, hold up. We've got this one right here. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, pretty neat.
Yeah, very cool.
All right, let's move on from this one. We've got TMNT Saturday Morning Adventures number 8, dude. I read this one. I'm actually reading it, and it just takes me back. Nostalgia bug. It's the nostalgia bug, but you got first comic book appearance of Mr. Og, and it's pretty cool, man. So I think I might be picking this one up. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it's a lower price point book too, if I'm not mistaken. It's fun. It's a cartoony feel, and they're popular books. I don't think I have any on order. How relevant is Mr. Og in the world of TMNT? Is he significant?
Nah.
Give or take? But it's still a Turtles' first appearance. Yeah. Personally, no, I think it's neat, though.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. But like I said, I'm most likely going to pick this one up. I'm just, dude, the TMNT nostalgia stuff with the Saturday morning cartoons. I've referenced Saturday morning cartoons a little bit in the last couple of weeks, but Uni saying it's hard to pick up everything DC. Just keep up with news and you will be fine. Exactly, man. That's exactly the way to go about it. But all right, man. Transformers 1, dude. I loved this read. Now we're already hitting the 3rd print on this one.
Well, yeah, I think there's good. Listen, they know a cash cow when they see it. Remember how many printings of Grimm 1 are there out there right now? You know what I mean? No, I think this is Transformers are so super hot right now. The Energon universe, I'm a big fan of, and the storylines are actually cool. Like if you guys have read Transformers 1, or if you haven't, please do. It's so sick. But it's really sweet. I think it's going to get a lot of momentum. But I think there's going to be like a new printing every 2 months for the next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, when you go to like a show like Fan Expo and they're like, oh, Fan Expo edition of like Batman 12 or Batman Adventures 12 or whatever. Yeah. I could see them doing like Fan Expo foil edition Transformer 1 with like an Optimus or a Megatron or whatever. Yeah. Listen, it's a sweet cover. It's cool. I just don't know how deep I'd go on it. Like pick one up if you like it.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely picking one up. I'm not going crazy picking up 1,000 of them, but I can assure you that, like you were saying, those later prints are definitely coming, especially Energon Universe. You got the Transformers, but you've also got Void Rivals itself that's hitting so many later prints. I think we're at, 5th now?
Well, yeah. Speaking of which,
Yep, exactly. These are readership printings, very little overprint. There you go, man. Loving this Transformers series. Printed, baby. That's the way, man. I agree. It's so good. Transformers book is awesome. Left Arrow saying they will sell out fast and it will be reprinted. So there you go. Wait until we finally get Megatron. Holy shit, 12 printings, 100%. And of course, speaking Void Rivals, well,
there he is.
It is there, babies. 5th print already, man. So like I said, this has been very entertaining. It's one of the few things I look forward to reading as of late. It's up there. It's in the list.
Yeah. Well, listen, Robert Kirkman's so talented. You know what I mean? Like Invincible is on TV again with a new series, and it's so. I was talking to my buddy today. I'm like, it's just like who doesn't like Invincible? You know what I mean? It's nice. Yeah. Then you had The Walking Dead before that, but Void Rivals I've really been enjoying. I really like the imagery of Jetfire. Yeah. They had that early spoiler, whatever for issue 1, the variant. I would like to get one of those. I was just kind of like waiting to find one at an achievable price.
Yep.
This is nice.
Definitely, man. Yeah, exactly. Left Arrow saying he needs this one. The 5th printing is awesome, man. We got Michael Baker saying the Energon universe has not disappointed so far. Exactly. It's doing its thing, and we got other characters making their way very soon, bro. I can't wait to see more of them hopping over from, other universes. G.I. Joe Cobra Commander.
That'll be interesting to see, like, you know what I mean, like how that all kind of interacts and stuff, and hopefully
Yeah.
the quality's like good too.
Yeah.
Like the kind of take they took on the storyline, it was kind of a different take on the Transformers, just how it got going for Transformers #1. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like this is
Agreed.
kind of neat, you know.
Yeah.
And shit got real fast in that issue. You're like, wow, I was
Yeah.
excited.
Exactly, man. Uni is saying, did you guys watch Rebel Moon trailer? I actually have not, man. And he says he had to pre-order an issue, so I'm gonna go check that immediately after this show. And you got North 49 saying Firepower by Kirkman is also a great read. Dude, I think that is so undervalued, underappreciated, to be honest with you. A lot of people looked over Firepower. There was the gold foil that came out for the issue #1 that a lot of people were chasing when that dropped. But yeah, man, definitely a great read. I highly recommend it. Void Rivals is going to be a big one. So there you go. Being been sleeping on Robert Kirkman for years. No longer shit is fire. There you go, guys. Read the Cobra Commander Ashcan. He's a snake. And there you go. But Left Arrows leaving off within the comments, and of course we're going to say support Left Arrows by following Comic Nation US. Go check out their Instagram and definitely check out their website, comicnation.us. And while you're there, make sure when you're placing your FOC order, you use Black Round for an additional 5% discount, and support our boy Left Arrows, who is also writing the articles for New Comic Book Day for FOC, and he's also getting in there on those the cover price shakers list. Yeah, man. So shout out to him. Definitely go check out coverprice.com, the best comic book price guide around. So
I use them every week, like FOC every week. I always have to amend like the email with, you know, adding a couple books. He knows his stuff, man. He puts in the work. It's top shelf.
Yeah, Dan Delatorre, my brother, swinging by, man. You crushed it last night with Spine Takes, as always, man. Such a great show. Uni asking, you guys excited for Luke and Cobra Commander? I am, dude. I really am, man. I think it's going to be a good one. So far, it's shaping up to be an awesome universe. That's all I'm going to say. But all right, Nefarious, it's time to get into my favorite part, which is the market report. So, as I do all the time, baby, I'm going to ask you, are you ready?
I'm ready, buddy.
There you go. Man, he's still going. Look at you, baby. All right. Market report. We're obviously going to talk some of the books that sold on the secondary market. Now, all this information coming from CBSI, Cover Price, eBay, Go Collect, Key Collector, you name it, I'm looking at it. So let's get into it. We're going to look at the first book on the list, and that one being the Max #1. I can't believe we're talking about this book, but yes, we are. Why? Because rumored movie by Paramount. Yeah, that's been some of the news. So CGC 98 sold for $110 US, and it came in at #4 on Cover Price. Very interesting to see a lot of copies moving this week.
Well, they're so cheap. Like I was checking just before the show. There's like you can get them for $3 right now. There's a glow in the dark like variant that I think there was a ratio attached to. I'm not sure, maybe 125, 150. That one seems to be like kind of scarce on eBay. Didn't see a lot of them, but since this book came out, this was kind of like the second or third phase of like Image. You know, like Spawn was out there first, like Wildcats, and then Max came out a little later. People were buying them by like the dozens. You know what I mean? Shops were over ordering on them. They've been available pretty readily at cheap prices. So I don't know how much of an increase in value it's going to go. There's certainly people buying them with Channing Tatum attached to it. That's an interesting like association. So how many copies of Max 1 do you have lying around?
Oh, dude, I think I've picked up at least 3 in my lifetime somewhere. But my exact reaction when I saw this on the list on Cover Price is what Uni's saying right here. I was like, what the fuck? Are you serious? And of course, later to learn that there was, you know, the rumors that, like you said, Channing Tatum is supposed to be attached to this one, which is pretty interesting. But otherwise, like, by no means did I ever think this would ever pop. And now, you know, Callie's saying, I like the purple foil half max, 1.5. So like, sorry, half max. It's. I agree, but still, I didn't imagine I would ever see the Max comic on any list in ever. I'm gonna be honest, dude. How many have you come across in dollar bins? Like, I'm sure.
Wow, it's literally every collection you get has 1 to 5 of these in them.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, exactly. And dude, like, I'll be honest with you guys, man. My organization when it comes to my comics has been so bad in the last year. Like, I think it's pretty much like what Ozzy's saying here. I probably have this issue in at least like every box must have at least one copy.
Yeah.
Yep. What you got here? North 49 saying, I buy them to scratch the itch, then sell them and regret it. So I buy it again. LOL, rinse and repeat. So there you go. Paul is saying, I know guys were checking their long boxes for the Max comics after the news. I know I was. So there you go. Uni asking the solid question. Do we doubt that Baker has a 9.8? Seriously, this guy's got 9.8s of everything. But yeah, man, interesting first book on the list. Now the second book, this one, I'll be honest with you, Lefteros is actually the one who put me on this book, and he said,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah,
yep,
I bought 10 of them. You know what I
yep,
mean? I was like, oh my gosh. Because remember, like, I don't know, 6 months ago, maybe a year ago, they wound up on a cover. And I remember I was talking to Left Arrows. I don't know if it was on the phone or text or whatever. And he's like, yeah, this is one to get. It's their first like cover appearance. And when they were doing all those cool covers, around the time that the Mandalorian like gold cover came out. Remember that?
yep,
He wasn't in the story, but he was on the cover. Same deal. But look at the cover on this. So when I saw it go on the FOC list, I was like, oh my gosh. And you know what's good about this is it's not Bad Batch number 1. People would have been like, okay, everyone's obviously, give me 20, give me 30, whatever. It's like hyperspace stories, like midway down the run, wasn't like an issue 1 or 2. So I think this might have kind of flown under a couple people's radar.
yeah.
But,
Yeah, Michael Baker, I'm actually shocked that you don't have a 9.8 of the Max number 1. But yeah, Star Wars Hyperspace Stories, number 10, first appearance of the Bad Batch in this book. And what's interesting is that you've got 2 covers, right? You got the cover A. There's another cover as well that's got them. And it's pretty interesting because this one here seeing a lot of love, and it just recently came out. And it came in at number 1 on cover price. Raw highs $16 and near mint face market values at 12 USD. So just to give you an idea, I think this book was no more than like what, $4.99 when it came out. So
yeah,
you're already seeing an uptick. You had potential to make quick buck if you gave a what that rhymed with that. So yeah, pretty interesting. But let's move on. Daredevil 9, dude, obviously with the news that broke, the trailer came out, everything. It's funny because this book has been completely forgotten about. People just stopped caring about it, and it took a dip. It took a serious dip. But first appearance of Echo Maya Lopez in a CGC 9.8 recently sold at 345 Canadian dollars. Came in at number 11 on cover price, so it was a runner-up on the top 10 list and came in at number 1 on CBSI. Not bad.
Okay, but here are my thoughts on this book. Okay, like the MCU effect on comic books has severely diminished because I was paying attention. Like, so the trailer drops, trailer goes over, everyone loves it. They're like, this is crazy. They're saying it's going to be like TVMA, or they're speculating that's what it's going to be. Is that confirmed? It's going to be TVMA?
Yes, I think the trailer was pretty much confirming.
Sick, you know what I mean? Amazing. So then you start looking at like prices of this book. Yeah, 9.8 hit like 345, but you look at like a 9.6, a 9.4. Raw copies are selling at that, or we're selling that at eBay. It's just a weird place in the market where you can actually like buy a 9.0, a 9.2, crack it open, sell it for more raw. It's wild. This book's like floating around. You can find it like 120, 140 on eBay, Canadian dollars, going around there. I think maybe it's a good time to pick it up. It just sounds so cheap, in a 9.4, 9.6. And especially if the show's good and it's like TVMA, that's kind of like uncharted water for the MCU as like an MCU. Do you remember how cool the Netflix Daredevil show was? Like how dark and gritty and stuff like that. And then, if it can capture any of that kind of grittiness and intensity and tone, I think you got like a hit show on your hands, which could do good things for this book.
Yeah, and of course we did see very quickly in a very split second that of course Daredevil himself is going to be in the show. So that's pretty interesting. And we'll talk a little more about Echo once we get to the hot topics section of the show. But you did say that this is pretty affordable at the moment and probably a good time to pick it up. I think it even dips more once the show is done. So
yeah, once the show is done, for sure.
And it's dropping all in one shot, so that'll be interesting. All right. Let's move on from this because we've got Avengers Annual 21. Dude, the direct copy sold for $195 in a CGC 9.8. Now it's interesting because near mint face market value is $16. Now, why do people like this book? Well, first appearance of Victor Timely. So yeah, a lot of people flock to this one. And with Loki being as good as it was, yes, I will fight you or anybody that disagrees with me, but came in at number 20 on cover price, man. Dude, another book that I've seen so often in bins, man.
Yeah, not anymore. Well, like he's not on the cover. Victor Timely's on the cover. You got Citizen Kang, but Kang's listed on the cover, I guess. But how can Loki was just so good, and he was a pretty pivotal part of the series. So you can only expect his first appearance to get some love.
Yep.
I don't how is it going to stay for? And do we get to see? We'll probably end up seeing the Victor Timely version of Kang again. I would imagine at some point down the road.
I hope so. I hope so. Now you got to remember that, of course, we did see him at the end of the show back in his place in time. No
As a
TVA
youngster,
book
yeah.
drop.
So.
Yeah. So, they are hunting other variants, the TVA being they. So we shall see. But very interesting to see this one pop up so far out from his first appearance in the show, though, right? Like he made his debut. I think it was in episode 3, and here we are. The season ends, and now this is starting to crack the list. So I found that to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think I looked at the book when the episode first dropped, expecting to see a pile of them. Listen, I remember back Loki season 1, a couple years ago when we meet He Who Remains, and Avengers 8 on eBay, it was boom, there was 50 copies sold, and the book just went ballistic. Different time in the market as well, though. I didn't really see the same thing, so I stopped kind of paying attention to it right after that. I'm like, is this book going to go crazy now? But that character, the Victor Timely character, he had an interesting character arc in the show. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He kind of didn't really have a lot of faith in the character at first. He kind of seemed a little incompetent, and then you were like, yo, this guy is starting to transform by the end. Yeah. I think even though we saw the kid, I think we're going to see that variant of Victor Timely maybe come up again at some point. You never know.
For sure. Cliff saying, I wish I could have enjoyed the show the way you have. Cliff, let's rewatch it. If you want, I'll point out some stuff with you. Let's do this. It's a great show. But let's move on from this. We've got actually Avengers 152, dude. Now here you've got the first appearance of Black Talon. 29 copies in a CGC 98 exist on the CGC census, and a CGC 98 sold for $650. I think rightfully so. That's my opinion, but cover price shaker.
Yeah, no, listen, I am going to confess I don't know too much about this book. So what's the significance of Black Talon right now? As far as
so there's a lot of talks that he may be making his appearance within the Agatha show.
Okay, that's what it was then. So kind of like a second tier support character sort of thing.
Yeah, we can say that. Now there were rumors that obviously there was going to be the Wonder Man project and that he was going to probably be there as well. So that was some of the speculation prior, but I think disregarding all of anything related to spec, the fact that there's only 29 CGC 98 copies of this book, this is earlier Avengers. I'm pretty sure it's almost rare to come across such a minty copy. So $650 was the price tag on this one.
Yeah, a lot of these random Bronze Age books have super low census numbers for 9/8. There's a lot of Captain Marvels that are out at the same time, specifically some of the Thanos covers Captain Marvel 33 or whatever. They only have 25 9/8. And so it just adds to the desirability. There's some collectors, they'll just want the 9/8. You know what I mean? They don't want a 9/6, they don't want a 9/4.
Yep.
And when it's scarcity, I guess scarcity drives demand, plus a little spec in there. And you know what? If that's him on the cover there, it is a pretty cool first appearance cover.
Yep, it is. I 100% agree with you. But we'll see. I mean, Agatha now had a name change. I remember it was
Coven of Chaos or something.
Yeah, the Coven of Chaos or something, and now it's changed. I forgot what the new name is, but we'll see, man. Marvel's doing their little shakeup within the MCU. It seems they're changing a little bit of the direction, so we'll see. But here's a book I think you might like, sir. Iron Man 150, and it's in the newsstand. Now, look at this, man.
You sent me the slides, and I was like, how many copies do I have of this, and where are they? Because for a long time, it wasn't super expensive, and then, everything got crazy a couple years ago, and this is one of the ones that started flying. Iron Man and Doom have always had a cool relationship. I really like the infamous Iron Man series, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where Doom kind of apprised the role of the infamous Iron Man in Tony Stark's absence. This is just one of those classic covers that kind of gets to the Kardashian syndrome. It gets popular for being popular, Yep. Just like Wolverine 8 and other cool books like this. But how are you going to hate on this cover? Yeah. And with the scarcity of the newsstands, that's a pretty high ticket price because right now, every time you see a price on a book, it becomes, would I rather have this book or something else? You could get so much at $150 US right now. raw books. You know what I mean? Like, let's say this book or like a first appearance of Deathstroke or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
Not that I don't have mad love for that. I just find that expensive for that book. What are your thoughts? You must have one of these.
No, dude, hold on. What my thoughts about this particular book?
Yeah.
Dude, I think this is phenomenal, and a raw near mint copy at $150 US. I think it's totally
That's
worth the
hot.
price.
That's super expensive. They used to be a lot cheaper. But
They
listen, I
used
take
to.
nothing. I love this book. I love it.
Yeah. But what I will say is something that Lefteros brought up, okay? Because he says this one goes out to the John Romita Jr. haters. Now, to be completely transparent with you, I think this is, you see, it's funny because John Romita Jr. has some phenomenal work, and here you have a prime example of some of his best stuff.
I didn't
Whereas,
even know that was him.
what's coming out now? Yeah, yeah,
No. Well, yeah. Listen, I did not even know that was John Romita Jr. I
yep,
thought that would be like a Bushima or one of
yep,
those guys. You know what I mean? Like one of their workhorses from back in the day, like Don Heck or one of those guys.
yep.
That's crazy if that's John Romita Jr.
Nuts, right? Hyper's in the house,
What's up?
brother. Hyper's in.
What's up?
Yeah, man. Appreciate you swinging by. Yo, guy was crushing it. He sent me some clip of of a show he was recently on. I forgot the title. Hype. If you don't mind, just reference the show in the comment section. But yeah, some good times were had on that show, man. But yeah, man. I love this cover. I think it's, if you can find a high grade copy.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's, you know what's interesting with Doom? Doom's my guy. Okay, he doesn't have like a lot of key issues per se, but he has a lot of awesome covers. You know, and this is definitely one of those iconic, awesome Doom covers, and it's not like insanely priced. Like Fantastic Four 57. It's a little earlier book in the 60s. Really cool cover, really popular Doom cover. A little more expensive. This one, well, clearly it's getting expensive. So I guess get it on the uptick. You know.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with Leftero. Slight cheating here when you have him doing the inking, but you got Cliff saying, "I bet dollars to donuts." One of the workhorses touched it up before print. There you go. So
Yeah.
you pretty much got it. Aaron Yeager saying, "Just watch the last couple minutes. I have that Daredevil issue 9. Just side a job, and the guy gave me a box of the whole series for free. That's awesome, man.
That's a good
Congrats to you."
series.
And Hyper saying I was on the low grades. There you go. It was low grades. So definitely go check it out, man. That was some funny stuff. But all right, man. Oh, Baker saying John Romita Jr. is still better than the current version of Frank Miller.
Wow.
Yes, absolutely. Somebody needs, I don't know what's going on with that and his covers, but anyways. Street Sharks, baby. I don't know if you loved Street Sharks growing up. I totally did, but you got issue number 1, the adaptation of the animated series. CGC 98 sold for $300 US, man. The nostalgia bug's hitting people. It's hitting people. Cover price shaker, baby.
Listen, for the longest time, I like scoffed at my friends that were like buying up Transformers and G.I. Joes on these dumb little cartoon books. And then I was like, I'm the idiot, because those are about all the cartoon, video game, et cetera, books. Man, those things are about as hot as they come. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so it only makes sense that Street Sharks, you know, all those other Biker Mice from Mars, all these other cartoons now getting some love. And you know what it boils down to is these were comics that were coming out and were not generally bought, I wouldn't think, by collectors that have been in the hobby for 30 years. They were bought by kids, and thus, you know, probably not taken care of as they should have been. So there's probably not a lot of like higher grade copies out. That's why you're seeing like, you know, $300 US is, you know, again, what else can you buy in that price range? There's a lot of other good stuff available at that price right now, you know?
Yep. But clearly, you know, somebody flocked to this because, one, yes, the nostalgia bug, baby, and like you know, you referenced Biker Mice from Mars and stuff like that. Rumored project as well for that one, apparently attached to Ryan Reynolds. So I think people are playing it safe here and, you know, making sure they get some copies of other potential stuff. So whatever it may be, nostalgia, whatever. Interesting pickup. CGC.
Did you watch Street Sharks growing up? They had
Of course I did. Yeah.
See, I'm of the older generation. Like I grew up in the '80s, so I remember them, but I wasn't really watching cartoons at that point. I think I was playing Magic the Gathering or something.
Yeah. I just want to shout out Paul saying that he's going to be planning to come by in Canada. So when you do, definitely, you know, hit me up as well. I'm sure Hyper is going to let me know. We'll take you out, man, for a good time. Definitely. 100%. All right. Batman 404, but this is a Canadian price variant, dude. And I've been seeing a lot of Canadian price variants making some big sales on the market. Now, check this. There's only 3 9/8 on the CGC census in a Canadian price variant. This 9/8 sold for $2,085 US. That is wild.
Yeah,
Wild. Again, I know this kicks off year one, but Jesus, this is insane.
okay, you know what's cool? Okay, so obviously we're down. Me and you, we're in Canada. We see a lot of the CPVs down here, but here's the problem. Okay, it is a very niche buying market for these big books, and to sell them, you're very limited in your options. Generally, only being like sending them to an auction house to run at auction. There are people out there. You just have to cast a very broad net to buy them. What do I think of the book? But again, 2,000 US. What would you rather have for 2,000 US? Like you could buy like a low grade first appearance of Loki, like a 2.0 or something, maybe a 3.0. I don't know what the price is right now. Or this, like you have to love Batman year one. And I'm not saying it's not awesome. It is definitely awesome. Another book, we're talking about Transformers, Transformers 1 CPV. You see what that thing is? It's like $4,000 in a 9/8, something crazy
It's
like
insane.
that. Yeah. So if this is your thing, if Batman Year One's your thing, again, awesome storyline. Frank Miller did some great work there. Way to go. It's an impressive number. I would maybe have some other stuff for that number.
Yep, 100%. Everything you just said, you nailed it on the head. That price range, myself, I'd probably be looking at other books, but it is, again, very interesting to see that there's only 3 on the CGC census in a 9/8 Canadian price variant. So I guess we could say scarce as hell when it comes to this book in a 9.8, but 2,085, man. I thought this was absolutely insane. Yes, outrageous sale. Cliff, I'm with you, bro. North 49 saying Miller Origin, OG goodness. Yes. Do you think this 2,085 price and outlier?
But how do you see that? There's 3 of them. So now one's in a collection. When are you going to see another one come up? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And a 9/8 is a different beast than a 9/6. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like looking up the Ultimate Fallout 4, 1 in 25. A 9/8 was up at 40,000. The 9/6, I know because I had one, wouldn't break about 8 or 9,000, even at the height. So is it an outlier, or like when are you going to see another one? Was probably the logic.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. That 1 in 25 though of Ultimate Fallout 4 is absolutely insane. Absolutely.
Man, I know a guy, I swear to God, he was one of my clients. He bought a lot of comics. He has 40 of them. I'm not lying. His name's Impact Guy on Instagram. Add him up. He posts them all the time.
Jesus, that guy is crazy. Laughing.
Well, it's taken a bit of a beating in the markets as of late, but it's an amazing book.
Census is going to start climbing. Yeah, exactly. But all right. Let's get to the boy we were talking about, Sonic, baby. Game Informer #1. That's right, man. This magazine here definitely is, dude, if you're a gamer, you know, this magazine's a pretty awesome magazine. You've showcased so much awesome stuff. Lots of games I grew up playing too, man. A lot of these games. And you can see some of the hockey stuff right there. I was heavy into some of those sports games, but of course, Sonic gracing his presence on this cover. Only 2 of 9/6s on the CGC census of this magazine, and that 9/6 sold for $1,680 US, dude. Again, nuts.
Okay, now is this his first printed appearance?
No.
It's just a cool book that's rare. Yeah, it's a pretty iconic image. Like we were talking earlier, like when you sent me the slides, I was like, yo, that's crazy. I just bought a bunch of Sonic comics. Me and my buddy bought this collection. It was like a near complete run of like the first ongoing series and the mini series and all that. Because literally every show I'm at, like whenever I'm doing online auctions and stuff like that too, people are always like, do you have any Sonic? And at first I'm like, man, what are these weirdos asking for Sonic? You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then it's like every time I'm somewhere, people are like, do you have Sonic? Do you have Sonic? Do you have Sonic? I'm like, I don't, and it's crazy. You know what I mean? It's a very highly sought after book. And I think I'm just late to the party figuring this out in the past year or so. And anytime I get them, they fly, man. You know, okay, so listen, $1,680. Would you spend $1,680 US on this?
Personally, no, because I would be going for other books. Like I'm very much into collecting video game comics right now.
Yeah.
Like, you know, characters I like and so forth. And magazines, dude, like if you check out some of the Nintendo Power magazines that dropped from back in the day.
I
Yeah,
know.
some
Because
big
you know what
coins.
the problem is like who is gonna keep them and keep them in nice condition and stuff like that, you know? I remember that Mario one, the one that goes for crazy money, like the first one. Because dude, like when video games were life back then. I'm 42, growing up in the 90s, it was like, you know, going to the video store, renting them, and Nintendo Power, like there's no internet back then. These are the dark ages. You know what I mean? You got your Nintendo Power, they give you like little level codes how to get through them. All the cool
Exactly.
stuff you can order.
Yep. Exactly, man. But I do think these are awesome, man. Especially, I
Yeah.
loving video games and so forth. I think this is an awesome magazine to own. But would I spend this coin on it? No, personally, I would not.
Yeah, no, definitely dope.
Yeah. But all right, let's get to some Deadpool stuff because yes, the hype for Deadpool is definitely there, and we got prelude to Deadpool Corpse #3. No, this has the first appearance of Dogpool. That's right, you see him, but it's a raw near mint copies are selling at 55 Canadian, dude. That's nuts. Came in at number 10 on CBSI. I think this is a book that absolutely so many people passed and just looked over.
Well, because they're coming out, it's been consistent that they've been coming out with a million different Deadpool variants, like whenever. It's a very, it's a jovial series, and they're always coming out with kind of interesting, kind of funny concepts like Vampire Deadpool or, Lady Deadpool, Headpool, Dogpool. There's a million other variants. And I guess, so what sparked this off is Ryan Reynolds posted the release date, posted a picture of Dogpool,
Yep.
I don't really like. I don't have one. I'm maybe not going after it.
No, I'm not. We got confirmation that he's going to be within Deadpool 3. That's pretty much what caused this to spike. Personally, I don't care. I'm not going to speculate over the appearance of a dog. Like, I really don't care. That's just me. But what is very impressive is that Tony right here is saying I still have my Nintendo Power magazines.
Beautiful.
So I think you and I need to talk tomorrow. I'll be in at around 9:30. That's all I'm going to tell you. But yeah, man, Hood Rat's in the house. Hood Rat, brother, appreciate you swinging by, man, dude. We definitely gotta. He invited me recently on his show. I couldn't make it that night, but hopefully we'll get together sometime real soon, bro. But yeah, man. So back to the MCU spec and all this stuff. Like again, seeing this book get an uptick to 55 Canadian raw is pretty impressive for a book of such, at least.
Depending, you know what? You took the words out of my mouth. For the large part, you know what? Remember, I'm gonna go back to like 12 months ago, 14 months ago. You get a whisper of a character, let's say, I don't know, Porcupine Man, or whatever that guy's name was, that appeared in She-Hulk. All of a sudden, that issue is going ballistic. It's like making like all the lists, and you watch the episode, and he's like in the butt of a couple jokes, whatever. You don't really see that effect anymore. Like, look at the first appearance of like Silk, Cindy Moon, and all that. It's really taken a beating lately.
Yep.
Deadpool, Harley Quinn, they're very popular franchises. Deadpool has great covers as well.
Yep.
Like if you look at this cover, it's fun. You know what I mean? It's not a hard book to sell.
Yep.
You are right, but I don't know if it's due to. I guess in this case it's due to spec.
That's all overall, it is. It's because we found out this dog is going to be in the movie.
Yeah,
That's really what it comes down to.
Good.
Anyway,
good. Yeah.
Is what it is. But one thing we can talk about now, we'll try to keep it spoiler free. If you guys haven't watched the Marvels yet, well, there's been something related to this. That's all I'm going to say. But what we get in Uncanny X-Men 164 is the first appearance of Carol Danvers as Binary. So CGC 98 recently saw a sale on November 11th, 2023, exactly yesterday, baby. $352.87 Canadian. Came in at number 2 on CBSI. Dude, I actually picked up a Canadian price variant of this, and it's in a high grade. So I'm curious.
How much did you pay for that?
I picked it up for, I think, $8.
Yeah. I was about to say, I remember this book being $15-$20 forever up until about recently. You know what I mean? And you just be able to find it because that like segment of the run in X-Men, they're everywhere. You know what I mean? Start after you pass about 155, 160. They're very common books. You see them around. It's a cool, but look at the cover on this too. That's what might give it like a little steam. You know what I mean? For absolutely. A little bit anyway. Maybe just wait to buy it. I'm sure it's going to cool off as soon as something else comes around, and then scoop up your copy.
Exactly, I agree, man. I think now it's time to maybe just let it cool off because it's starting to see a little uptick. But like I said, I picked mine up in a Canadian price variant at $8. So
that is cool.
Yeah, definitely think it'll come back down. But one I do not foresee coming back down: Nefarious Zelda, the Legend of Zelda.
I've never owned one. And I like have a lot of stuff coming through my hands. Okay, listen, this is I'm just gonna say, when you watch Lord of the Rings, you're like, and then you're like, you're Nintendo, and you're like, man, we have Zelda. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
put some good production value into it. Same kind of like thing. This is gonna be so huge. Not to mention, look at how popular the Super Mario movie was.
Yep.
Big
Dude,
book. You must have this.
yeah, I have it in the 9.6. To be honest with you, I picked it
Wow.
up a few months ago. I've been hunting this book for the longest time. Now you do got to be careful because there's first print, second
Yes,
print,
yes.
there's no price variance and so forth. So that being said, The Legend of Zelda #1, this one right here being the 195 first print, sold for $525.83 in a CGC 9.4, November 7th, 2023. Came in at number 5 on CBSI. Now, I imagine we're going to see this book a lot more often. And ironically, it's wild because this is not his first appearance. But it is, unfortunately, not unfortunately, I got to say, this is the book when it comes to The Legend of Zelda. It's just a pretty neat cover, man. Valiant back in the day, right? With their little logo on there. But I picked up my CGC 9.6 a few months ago for 380 Canadian.
That's good.
Yeah. So already now seeing the CGC 9.4, I could assure you I'm never selling it. I'm holding that shit because I'm a huge fan of Zelda. I've played every single video game. There's absolutely no way I let that out of my hands unless I could get an upgrade to a 9.8. But I know that the 9.8s are up
That'd
there,
be
man. I saw
crazy
a
money.
sale. Yeah, I saw a sale of a 9.8. I think it was approximately $2,000.
That's what
So
I was just thinking.
yeah.
But you know what? Here's the other thing. You just looked for one. They're not common. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And does this have a thicker cover on it, or is that just me imagining things?
Yeah. Sorry?
Does it have a thicker cover on it? Like
It,
a
it is.
cardstock cover?
It's thicker, but it's not like the Super Mario Bros. #1. If you
Yeah,
remember
yeah, yeah.
that one
So
is glossy.
so it's hard to find them in good condition because again, there was kids buying them. They're playing Nintendo, and like the thing with these cardstock covers is when things go bad on them, they go very bad. You know, it's not like a little spine tick. It
Yeah.
like looks like someone like jumped on it.
Yeah, exactly, man. And Hoodrat saying next thing you know, they're gonna make a Wii Sports movie. Yo, that would probably be a pretty sick movie. But one movie I am hoping for would actually be Samus, dude. I would love to see Metroid. We'll talk about that. But
Oh, yeah,
I
it's
think,
inevitable.
yeah. Who knows? Who knows? But we see the return of the Baker Shaker and the return of Wolverine 37, the surprise virgin variant that was given to account holders of Penguin and Diamond and so forth. But CGC 9.8, we finally see CGC sales taking place now because Raw, this one was seeing a very significant uptick. It was pretty impressive. $500 for a CGC 9.8 Baker Shaker, baby. That's right, Baker's back, and he put this on my radar, and I was like, damn, already this one's hit $500.
No, but you know what it is? It's first to market copies is what's going to happen. People are going to see it like as soon as you get that first copy out, there's like none other ones on eBay. You just put an obnoxious price on it. You know what I mean? See if someone bites. How many sales? Maybe I'm wrong, but how many sales are at around 500?
I saw about 3 sales or
Well, there you
4 on just on eBay. So I don't know if there's other sales that have taken place behind closed doors, if you know what I mean. But the ones I saw on eBay it was about 3 sales.
Yeah. Now, what do you think of this?
I think it's insane, to be honest with you. Like, I love Capullo, Wolverine. Now, he's back to Marvel, Capullo, and I just thought, maybe people were jumping the gun. I don't know if it's because they felt it was scarcity, but I was hearing things as I was even talking about this book. Some people in the chat were even correcting at one point, saying, it wasn't a one per store. At first, people were describing this book as a one per store, but it was one per account. So if somebody's ordering from Penguin and Diamond, well, they're gonna get themselves 2 copies, right? Now these were horribly shipped, from what I saw. They were in those little poly bags with no backboard and so forth. So yeah, I could imagine how many were probably even damaged.
Oh,
So
what a
maybe,
disappointment. You're like, yeah, I just got this sweet book that everyone's going ballistic for, and you open it up and it's like folded in half.
yeah, exactly. Guys, Marvel does one per store is very rarely. Very true. But if one per account is not a lot, yeah. Well, like I said, I imagine there's a few out there. How many? I'm not too sure, but regardless, I think it's a nice cover. It's a beautiful
but
cover.
don't murder me, guys. But I'm so wary of like all the variants and high ratio variants because it's hard from my experience, to see a lot of them maintain the initial spike in value.
Yep.
Like when they come out super hot, how many of them actually like keep that number up? You know what this book kind of reminds me of? If it's putting numbers like that up, remember the Batman 423 Gold Fan Expo variant a couple of years ago, when people were getting that like back slabbed? It was doing pretty well, and then so many of them just hit the market because everyone's going to get them graded. You know what I mean? And then it just kind of settled down, and it's a book that's readily available and fairly achievable, like affordable rather.
Exactly. But dude, that was the market report. So that's the books we spoke about this week. But of course, we've got some hot topics to talk about this week, and there's some pretty interesting ones. So Nefarious, I'm gonna ask you for the last time tonight.
Am I ready?
Hear it, bro. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I want to hear it from the.
Oh, I'm ready, my man.
There you
I'm
go.
ready.
There you go. I'm gonna ask you. Hold up. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
There you go. Okay, fair enough. All right, baby, it's time for some hot topics of the week. Before we get into them, Hyper saying this price won't last. It also doesn't help that the trade dress version of this is an open order. And I agree with him 100% on the Wolverine 37. Sure. And Dan saying, I agree with Nefarious. Approach your comic buying with caution 100%. But hot topics of the week. And the first one we're going to talk about is MCU switching up their schedule. I don't know if you saw this. There's been some shift now since the SAG-AFTRA, the strike has ended. So they're shuffling some release dates. And what do we got here? Well, check some of these release dates. We've got Deadpool 3 now being the only MCU film that's going to be dropping next year in 2024. Pretty insane because, we've been so spoiled. We've gotten so much content, so many MCU movies. We get like maybe 2-3 a year. We're down to one for next year. So Deadpool 3 dropping July 26, 2024. Captain America 4 is now dropping February 14th in 2025. Something that's interesting, though, I saw Deadpool 3 is actually being released on the same date, if I'm not mistaken. It's one of the Wolverine movies. I think it's Logan or something. So
like 30 years apart or something like that.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's pretty cool. I can't remember which movie it is exactly, but yeah. Fantastic Four being pushed to May 2nd, 2025. Thunderbolts gets a jump to July 25th of 2025, and Blade now looking at a November 7th, 2025 release. But I'm not going to keep my hopes up for that one right now because we've seen that one's going through quite the struggle so far. So one MCU movie now. I know we're going to have some Sony movies dropping next year. I believe Venom's also scheduled for next year. Craven, which I do not care one bit for. I will say that 1,000 times over. But yeah, man. So pretty interesting to see that the MCU switches up its schedule. Look, it was expected with the strike, right?
Yeah, like so you'd think that strike would probably impact like the Disney Plus side of things as well. So there's going to be less franchises. So let me see what Chia Pet's saying here.
So Chia Pet's saying don't release anything till ready. Only reason the schedule was condensed was because Chapek wanted content fast for Disney Plus, and I agree.
Yeah. So, but listen, we all know that Wolverine in Deadpool 3 is going to be absolutely massive. They are going to squeeze that for every bit of promotion and popularity and marketing that they will. So guys, start buying. This is my Nefarious pro tip right now. Start buying mid-grade copies of New Mutants 98 because where prices are, things are very close to the floor right now, and even like 9.4s, 9.2s are so cheap. Definitely under $500. You know what I mean? Start stocking up on those because everyone's gonna be like all Deadpool crazy next year. That's a summer release date. That is going to be so massive. So I guess we just have to be thankful that we're getting one, and regardless of the fact that we're only getting one, think of how amazing like Deadpool 2, Deadpool 1 have been. You know what I mean? TVMA, we're going to have Echo, which is going to be TVMA or whatever. Now we got another MA1, MC17, whatever the current classification is. That's going to set a nice kind of like tone for the MCU over next year. You know what I mean? We're going like bloody, gritty for adults. Like I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be sick next.
And I imagine it'll get even more grittier when we get Daredevil and Punisher and everyone else. So looking forward to that. But of course, like I said, we unfortunately are going to be spoiled if you want to consider it that from the Sony side of movies. But Deadpool 3 being the one for next year. But after that, it looks like 2025 is pretty stacked. So let's hope
Fantastic
that Blade.
Four, man.
Yeah, let's
Listen,
hope that Blade does make the cut for 2025. I think everyone's been anticipating this for decades now at this point. But all right, let's move on from the MCU stuff. Now we're gonna stick within MCU topics, but we're shifting gears to their Disney Plus shows. Now, Echo is rumored to be the villain lead of this MCU project. Now, Sidney Freeland, who is the executive producer and director of the show, confirmed that Maya Lopez will have a villainous role in Echo, which is pretty interesting because we're gonna see a villain lead for pretty much the first time, right?
well, listen, I'll argue that because I think Marvel picked up on how successful Loki was,
Yeah.
and it allows for much more of a character arc. If you have the villain and kind of like reform themselves, become the hero, make the great sacrifice. Look at the character arc that Loki went on. You know what I mean? They're like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, there's some merit to this, and they're going to add in some more blood and guts and stuff like that. So I think I think they're just going to start reinstituting it, and it's interesting too. Like, listen, if you're a villain as a character and it's for mature audiences, you're going to see more like acts of gratuitous violence and real fights. If they're not like holding back, you know what I mean? You're like, yeah, let's wrap them up for the
Yeah.
coppers or something. You know, they're actually going in on them and giving them the licks, you know?
Yeah. Now, just to correct anything that may have sounded misleading, Chiapette, what I'm saying here is that we're getting a TV series that's villain led, right? Now, we do have movies that I guess we can say, Thanos led Infinity War, but at the same time, we had a very big supporting cast of heroes. But this being the main character in which it, revolves around being a villainous role, Loki didn't have that much of a villainous role. No, not within what was taking place in Loki season 1 and 2. He was, redeeming himself as a hero at that point. So it looks like we're going to see a villain with a purpose in this one. So pretty interesting. All right, moving on. What if season 2 will debut this holiday season? That's some great news because yes, I'm looking forward to this, man. What if season 1 was absolutely incredible? I know we've got a holiday special that's going to be taking place as well with Happy Hogan in this What If, but dude, first off, what were your thoughts about season 1?
Man, I loved it. I thought it was so awesome. Marvel Zombies has always been like one of my favorites. I thought they did the Marvel Zombies like pretty sweet. I really liked how they were using some of the actual actors' voices. I also like the best part of it is it all kind of like interconnected at the end. You definitely were not expecting that. Like Black Crown, when we were watching that, did you think there was going to be some massive team up with each of like the characters from all of them at the end?
Nope.
And then how awesome was it, like, seeing the Ultron with all the gems? Some really cool concepts. So I'm hoping that some of that kind of magic is carried over to season 2,
Yeah. Now, I know that this particular character that you're seeing front and center here is going to be a brand new character that's being written by Marvel just in this What If series. So has never had a comic appearance. Now, the name of this character is Kahuri. So I'm interested in seeing what this is going to be about because we have absolutely no idea who this is, right? We're not going into this expecting, Black Panther, Gamora over there, or Vision, or Doctor Strange. No, we're going into this with something completely new. So I think that particular episode is definitely one to keep an eye out for.
Okay, but you know what? I'll say this. What if they actually used a character from their 6,000 characters that they have and have established and we've developed relationships from? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They could have done anything with that episode, but they choose to use a new character. Well, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. Yeah. What are your thoughts? Would you rather have them like visited, like what if Gwen Stacy had lived or something, some classic what if story? What if Surfer had gotten the gauntlet or given you, some Disney inspired character is original story in a what if? And how many episodes are we getting? We're getting like what, 8 episodes, 10 episodes?
Yeah, I think around like 10 episodes, something like that. I'm not too sure.
Not bad. Yeah, but you get so we get 10% of the series being taken up by debuting a new character in a new reality.
Well, yeah, we'll say anywhere between I think 8 or 12 episodes. I don't remember exactly how many, but what I do think is awesome is that look, we've seen many first appearances within the MCU, and we can talk Harley Keener, that kid from Iron Man 3, right? He made his way to comics. Then you had Kat Dennings' character, the one in Thor, that sidekick to Natalie Portman or whatever you want to call her, but she made her way into comics through the MCU, right? Now, this particular character being written into What If, I think would be awesome if they really execute this well enough that maybe the episode ends with her making her way into comics. I
Oh,
think.
I think that's 100% with it. Without question, that's going to happen in like a Marvel Voices or something like that.
Yeah.
She'll pop up some book that's $14.99.
Yeah, probably 14.99.
100%, a $9.99 US cover price book, square bound, and then there's going to be multiple variant covers on it.
Yeah. Now, Dan De La Torre, I will say that not every episode was a banger, that's for sure, but there were several, and one that stands out at all times is definitely the Doctor Strange one. I thought that was a great episode.
Yeah, that one's a good one.
Yeah, and obviously the one where we ended up getting everybody team up against that.
Yeah, that was 2 episodes.
Yeah, the whole Vision stuff was pretty neat, man. But yeah, I'm curious about this one, and I'm looking forward to seeing this. Now, the biggest news of the week, man, and I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a gamer. This one hits a little harder. Big Zelda fan, but a live action Legend of Zelda has been confirmed, and in a surprise announcement, Nintendo legend Shigeru Miyamoto, I think I said it right, revealed that the story video game company is officially developing a live action adaptation of their popular franchise, The Legend of Zelda. So Miyamoto stated that he has been working on the film for many years now and will be working on the project closely with Avi Arad and Wes Ball. So that's pretty big. That's huge news. Now Nintendo absolutely hit a home run with the Super Mario movie, dude. I've said it many times. My kid took me to the theater maybe 5-6 times just to watch that movie. Bought it the second it came out on Blu-ray. But I think Nintendo expanding here into making their own, I know people are saying the Nintendo Cinematic Universe, NCU. I think this would be awesome, man. And like I said just earlier in the show, I would love to see not just this take place, but if we could get a Metroid movie, I think that would be absolutely nuts. Metroid is incredible. There's so many other characters we could touch on, but The Legend of Zelda, hell yeah, this is big news.
It's gonna be okay. So, do you know who Avi Arad is?
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah,
He's actually worked on.
He's own toy biz and all that.
Yeah.
So this guy, he's been around. He knows what he's doing. He's probably got a pretty grandiose vision attached to him. I think he was the founder of Marvel Cinemas as well. Like he was behind all those like '90s movies and stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah, the Spider-Man ones. He was behind so many projects, Sony related, unfortunately.
Listen, I'm down for it. It'll be interesting to see what kind of money they throw at it. So Rings of Power, when that came out, they said each episode was the equivalent of like the last season of Game of Thrones for budget wise. You know what I mean? It'll be interesting to see if they take like a page out of that playbook and throw a lot of money at it. You know what I mean? Because obviously it's gonna be heavily CGI and stuff like that. Like do some really grand scenes and stuff. Like listen, I who doesn't like Zelda and Link? You know, like, it's cool
For sure, dude. Look, I was happy to hear the announcement. Now, Chiapet saying a few things that I agree with is, Avi Arad, West Ball. Dude, Maze Runner was good, but it is not what I was hoping for. In fact, I've said it a million times. James Cameron would be fucking ideal for this, man. James Cameron, you saw how Avatar played out. That's exactly how I picture Zelda in a live action. I think that would be a home run. A home run.
We struck a chord with Chiapet.
Apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, dude, I don't know if you watched Avatar. James Cameron, I think, would have been a huge name to have attached to this film.
Yeah, I guess.
Yep. But all right, man. Dude, that was it. That was the hot topics. That was market. That was the show, the FOC.
Wow. That was a show, man. That flew by. Okay, so let's talk Montreal Comic Con here.
Let's do it.
Guys, if you're in the Montreal area, come by Montreal Comic Con. I'm gonna be down there. And then let's go out and do something. If you I was just so tired last time. I am not gonna be tired. I'm gonna be sleeping the whole week leading up to it. I went out for dinner with Chiapet and Lefteros, and it was a good time. And I was telling them why I don't like new comics, and they were like, "You must buy new comics." And I'm like looking at my floor right now, and it's covered with boxes of foil variants I just ordered. You know what I mean? So clearly that rang a chord with me. But what I'm getting at is we can all go out for dinner and have some fun if you're in Montreal for that weekend. I'll be down with my homie James. He works with me at Nefarious. And just have fun, man. Come buy some comics.
Yep. 100%, and I agree with Chiapet saying that you've got some of the best tables at the cons, so definitely go check out.
So nice.
Yeah, check out Nefarious if you're hitting up the mini con in Montreal, and of course, like you said, hopefully I'll be able to be there and swing by and hang out with you during the con, but definitely going to be there 100% to hang out with you after the con. That is 1000%.
Yeah, you know what else we have going on, guys? If you're in the Ottawa area too, I throw these fun little events. They're nerdy bingos. There's one of my flyers sitting there. So we comedy club downtown called the Laugh Lounge. I host it with my unique style and sense of humor and high energy. We've
Put it
given
back
away
up.
2 $500 Visa gift cards this time, plus like thousands of dollars in nerdy prizes. You'll see the ticket link in my bio, and it's always a fun time, man. I'd love to see you guys down there.
Hell yeah, man. Put it back up. Where did you say it is here?
So yeah, so guys, the link is up in my Instagram bio. This is my flyer, Nerdy Bingo, Laugh Lounge in Ottawa, Canada, right downtown, the heart of the Byward Market at the Laugh Lounge, the comedy club down there. Really cool spot. We sell it out every time. The name of the company is Comic Life Entertainment. You'll see some pictures. Normally we give away like PS5s as like our grand prize. Wanted to mix it up for the holiday season, give a pair of $500 Visa gift cards away. And so, you know, we get about 100 people, fills up the basement of the comedy club. It's so cool, so fun. And it's fun seeing members of the community out and about where you're not like behind a table at a show. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And of course, Michael Baker mentioning that the retrospect's taking place over at the Comic Kingpins channel tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely go check it out. But Nefarious, speaking the Kingpins, speaking, you know, with you has been a blast because that's the last time I've spoken to you. So I'm happy you made the time to hop on, bro.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Thank you so much, man. You have some killer people on with you, and I'm honored to be amongst them now. And so thanks so much for thinking about me, man. It was great.
Hell yeah. Andre Snell, greatly appreciate you. Appreciate everybody here in the chat. Guys, there's no more Loki show, so I will not be able to say, you know, come and hang out with us. Myself, Chiapet, Anthony from Reference Point Podcast at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Nope. I will be seeing all of you again next Sunday. And do not forget, it's going to be a big show next Sunday because we've got none other than Brian McClay himself swinging by, man. So that's going to be a very interesting show. Looking forward to hanging out with him for the first time, man. So come swing by next weekend, Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Everybody here in the chat, thank you, thank you, thank you. Nefarious, thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. And thank you.
Like I said, see you guys next week at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, have yourselves a great week. Peace.